G'day. Firstly, apologies for this video not being a proper video. But I've made a lot of chilies in my life, and I was making one yesterday and I didn't actually expect it to come out anywhere near as good as what it did. So once I cooked it and tasted it, I thought, geez, this is pretty good. So I quickly wrote down the amounts of everything that I use so I can make it again. I'm not normally that pedantic about recipes and stuff. I just sort of do it by trial and error. But because it's come out so well and I was that impressed with it, I just wanted to do it right. So I've actually created a proper recipe with measurements and all, which is something I don't normally do anyway. So give it a try and I hope you like it. And watch the video to the end too, because I want to show you something that my missus has made for me cooking that I'm going to do on here. It's a bit of a sign for me hairless biker cooking things I'm going to do. It's not quite finished, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So to make this, you're going to need to make yourself a batch of my my own hairless biker special dried spice blend, and you'll need a fair size container to mix this up in. The ingredients don't cost much, and you don't use that much of them, and you can also use it for like rubs on roast lamb, beef, and even chicken. It's pretty useful, and yeah, it took me a while to come up with the combos, but I think I've pretty much got it down pat now, and it just works. Anyway, to make this spice blend, you need to start off with a 50 gram satchel of chili powder, which is about 18 teaspoons. And then you want 10 teaspoons of standard or Hungarian paprika, 5 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 7.5 teaspoons of onion powder, 3 teaspoons of coriander, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and just mix them all up. Apologies for the cat. He always likes to be in my videos for some reason or another. It's quite annoying, to be honest with you. Right, so anyway, start off with a large fry pan. I use cast iron because I just like the even heat you get all over the bottom of the pan in cast iron. Seems to be a lot better to cook in than anything else as far as I'm concerned anyway. And you want it on a medium heat, and just put a drizzle of olive oil in the pan. So while the pan's heating up, grab yourself one large onion. The one I used was about 8 centimetres in diameter, or 3 inches. Remove the skin and dice it all up, add it to the pan. Then you want 2 jalapenos. The ones I had were about 9 centimetres or 3.5 inches long. I took the seeds out of one and left them in the other one. Finally dice these up and add them to the pan. And then you want 1 red cayenne chilli. The one I used yesterday was about 13 centimetres or 5 inches long. Leave the seeds in and dice it up finely. Add it to the pan. And the next thing you want is a large mushroom. The one I used was about 10 centimetres in diameter, or about 4 inches. Take off the skin and the stalk, and finally chop this up and add it in the pan. Once it's cooked for like 4 or 5 minutes, and you start smelling the heat, the chili smell coming out of it, you want to slowly add in 500 grams of regular beef mince. And don't get that lean stuff, because it just doesn't work. It's just not as good. You need just the regular basic stuff. So while that's cooking up, get a separate pot, only on low heat, and empty in 1 400 gram can of Ardmona diced vine-ripened tomatoes. These are grown in Australia, and they're really bright red in colour. Add to this approximately 1 teaspoon of Hoyt's Italian herb mix, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and about 1/8 teaspoon of white pepper. I find that white pepper really brings out the flavours in tomatoes better than what black pepper does. And just a little bit of a squeeze of lemon juice. You can adjust any of those things to suit your own taste, but you want to taste it while it's warming up, so you get a really nice flavour of the tomatoes before you put it into the chilli itself. So now your meat's been cooking a bit and it's nice and brown. You want 2 tablespoons of my hairless biker special spice blend, and just mix it in with the mince and everything else, chilies and stuff. Then grab yourself a colander and a 420 gram can of Coles red kidney beans. Now these kidney beans are from Italy and they're really super red. They're the best ones actually that I've found to use. So once the beans are fully drained off all the liquid, you don't want any of that liquid in the frying pan because it's basically just tastes like crap. Add the beans. Mix them in and wait for it to come up to temperature again. And once it's come up to temperature, just pour in your tomatoes and mix it up and let it cook away. As I said, you just want it on a medium heat just to see a few little bubbles coming up, and you want to see them chili oils come to the surface. As in the photo I've got here, that's the sort of the way you want it looking. You want to see them oils there. You don't want to leave it cooking too long because it'll dry out. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it because it's the best chili that I've ever made in my 59 years. I was super impressed with the way it came out. I'm not normally pedantic about recipes and writing down things. I just sort of do things as I go, but because this was so good, straight away after I tasted it, I thought, geez, I've got to try and remember everything that I've used in here, so I wrote it all down on a piece of paper. And yeah, all right, stay safe. Cheers.